What exactly is the subject matter? Do you just have to be Latinos, or what? I don't know. How do you guys?
We wanted to see who was doing what in Philadelphia that is in the Latino community, or
Right.
that is Latino, or
Right.
that just has Latino heritage. And so that kind of like explorative process just kind of became pretty interesting as we went around meeting people.
Yeah, in general, yeah, just in Philly. I mean, we both kind of live in Center City, and in Center City, I don't feel like you feel any of that presence, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of Latino creative people doing stuff in the city. So the subject matter is kind of more focused on the Latino side.
Right.
What are Latino creatives doing in Philly? Where are they doing it? We know that people are doing it, but where are they? Let's try to connect the dots. Even if it's not a Latino, but it's somebody that helps Latino artists or is well connected in the Latino community, that's somebody that we want to connect to and talk. Have a conversation. Continue the conversation, and then maybe connect all those dots in the future.
A lot of the work comes from the structure of fiction that I compose, that I write, right? And so it's not necessarily that I write or come up with these stories prior to premeditate the paintings. They kind of back and forth and give fodder to one another. They nourish each other a little bit. Sometimes I start painting and then these ideas that I have for these fictions kind of come in and coalesce. And the sound component of the shows have also to do with sometimes with different kind of fictions, you know what I mean? And they all sort of coalesce. My name is Rubens Ganov. I was born in Brazil, São Paulo to be exact, in '75. My family and I immigrated to the States in '89.
Most of the music, I kind of like create the seed, like a basic beat, and then write the lyrics with my my collaborator Aaron Luis Levinson, who is a Latin Grammy winner, and he's based here in Philadelphia, and he's
Awesome.
And he owns Range Recording Studios, and then I bring him to the band, and we just like figure out what we're gonna do. I've been a filmmaker for a long time, so I do our music videos. I also make the videos that play behind us during the shows. My name is Les Rivera. Actually, full name is Leslie Juan Rivera. And I go as El Malito. Is my nickname when I go out as a musician.
It's about outer space and science fiction and sort of like merging, like, or asking questions about reality, and which is funny that you mentioned that about that piece. Like, is it digitally manipulated? What happening is because of flattening of the space and the colors. And,
Yeah, because it's like you want to say this is like a completely natural, organic thing, and there's been something done to it to make you question that.
Yeah, but then it's also like a weird, like, it's a biological thing. Yeah, and then it's like it's flattened with the light. Yeah, so I'm still figuring it out, and whenever I get a chance to work on things, like I try. So my name is Jaime Alvarez, and I am from Puerto Rico.
I think art's been a part of my life since I can remember. Both my parents are artists. I've known many artists since I was growing up. Because of my upbringing, I have like a good connection with like the people in the gallery scene in New York and the artist scene in New York City, and also in Venezuela because of that. This working in taller, in this position was interesting because like I've never really thought of myself as an artist, but I always felt like I felt comfortable about talking about art and as a person who's been appreciating art. My name is Rafael Damast, right?
Yeah.
I was born in Venezuela. I came to the United States in 1973. I grew up in New York City.
I like the idea of memory and experience, and I think that experience and the emotions that we all have and share. The context will always be different, but we'll always have that same kind of feeling and experience or that emotion. Like everyone's felt love and anger and hate, and that's something we all share. My name is Melissa Montiel. I am a Philadelphia artist, I guess, and this is the space that I work in.
No estudié arte, en realidad no tengo un entrenamiento formal. Y yo no recuerdo cómo empecé a hacer figuras con barro. Hasta el día de hoy recuerdo eso y es como una nostalgia, un sentimiento que me da porque me motiva, es mi motivación para tratar de hacer lo que me gusta hacer, lo que me cause placer, gusto. Mi nombre es César Viveros Herrera. Originario de la ciudad de Veracruz, un puerto en el Golfo de México.
A lot of people we've talked to have talked about like being in between spaces and like not feeling comfortable in one skin or the other.
Being an immigrant as a kid, you don't have a choice, you know? Your home is your family, you know what I'm saying? But when I got to the States, I didn't understand the problematics of that exilic condition, you know what I mean? Which why I think my work is at base still and mostly about that kind of not feeling like you're one with the earth, you know?
I never like felt attached to Puerto Rico, probably because half my family came from Spain, and then I was spending summers in the United States, and then coming back to Puerto Rico, I never like I mean I like some of the music and food and that stuff like totally speaks to me, but at the same time, like I just sort of felt like this person that was constantly in flux, and the rest stop was sort of the thing that came up. That and like airports were like things that I felt sort of attached to.
There was really no acknowledgement of like that how identity might have consciously or unconsciously played in how artists of the day are been accepted. And now look at, listen to us. We don't speak with accents, Most of our formative times is here in the United States. I had the green card experience, but I haven't visited Venezuela since 1992.
I'm Puerto Rican, but came up in the suburbs of Westchester, where there were really no other Puerto Ricans. Yeah. So I kind of felt isolated in that way. Besides my parents, there weren't other kids that I could speak Spanish to. But I was also a dark-skinned Puerto Rican, so I didn't 100% connect with the white kids or the other black kids where I grew up. Yeah. So I always felt like I was a bit of an outcast. Mm-hmm. But I also was like, I can speak Spanish, I can speak English, I can dance, I can do this, I can do that. So I was kind of like, you feel good about yourself, dude. Like, look what you can do.
I guess contention maybe between me and my sister, because for some reason she's so much more drawn into our heritage than I ever will be or have been. Because honestly, this is all I know is America. I'm born here, raised here, I follow the laws here, and I mean, that's why everyone comes here to kind of assimilate and just like create this new culture. So I don't really draw any influence.
¿Tú hiciste murales en México también?
En Veracruz nada más.
En Veracruz.
Sí.
¿Y esos quedan o se han desaparecido?
Ahí
¿Sí?
están.
Okay. ¿Cómo sientes que es la diferencia?
Normalmente si tú pintas algo por tu cuenta en la calle y no está tan drástico, no está ofensivo, ahí se queda porque la gente le gusta ver el color y la forma y las
imágenes.
Pero aquí es lo opuesto, tienes que batallar, tienes que convencer todos que te deberían de dar el chance de hacerlo.
Aunque aquí hay otra concepción, el muro en México es muy diferente al muro en Estados Unidos. Aquí es más como lo que decía Siqueiros, es más como una pintura grande, porque muchas veces lo que la gente hace es nada más hacer la fotografía en grande.
¿Y allá cómo lo ves?
Pues el contenido social, pero la percepción del artista. Entonces, este tema lo voy a reventar así y empiezas a armar tu composición. A ti no te importa lo que va a pensar el vecino otro, es lo que... Y ahí tienes a Siqueiro, Orozco,
¿cierto?
Sí, toda la escuela de Rivera y todo eso.
There's something about being like a Latin American artist in America that is a weird in between, where like you're neither identifying with one or the other. When we were talking earlier at your studio about some of the imagery, you were talking about the institutions, the schools. Mm-hmm. It's like that's one of the ways that you chose to pursue that imagery. Mm-hmm. Like mine personally is, it's a material thing. Like I respond to traditions in different in like the way that these materials are used, how they work with each other.
To tell you the truth, I've never actually called myself or considered myself an artist.
I think when we're thinking about like artists in the general sense of like you're a musician.
No, not even that. Like I'm talking in terms of like, I personally feel more like I'm a craftsman. And not because I think that the word artist or art is like a dirty word like some people think, but I just have never felt that, like saying that about myself. I've always come from this thing of being like, I work at what I do, and my personality, my background, my history, like all the stuff that makes me, like, I guess it's like the art part of it. I wouldn't use the label like Latino artist because I want people to see or hear something they've never seen or heard before.
Te contamos que vimos tu mural en Los Gallos.
Oh, ya, sí.
En la 10.
Me platicó. Ah, sí, ahí fue la primera entrevista que hicimos. ¿Y tú hiciste esta aquí también? ¿En la Gerard?
Sí.
Tiene como algo que sale, ¿cierto? De la pared.
Sí, el calendario azteca sale,
sí,
y las estelas mayas salen.
¿Eso tú lo hiciste?
Y arriba yo lo hice.
¿Y lo encuentras muy difícil trabajando en sitio?
No, pero era por el tiempo, se me hacía más fácil trabajar en las noches y que estar ahí todo el día.
Some artists maybe use their ethnicity as a crutch. You know, that appeals to a collector or that appeals to a curator because of that ethnicity. But it does have to stand on its own 2 feet so that people can you know, make that connection easily. But if you just want to be given credit for your work, then you kind of have to shed that skin as well. You have to let that not be the first thing that people associate with. You know, whether you're Chilean or you're Uruguayan or you're Colombian or Argentinian, and people walk up to see your work and the first thing, it doesn't grab their attention, it doesn't draw them in, they're not going to care where your heritage is from. You know, if what people are looking for is iconic imagery that is traditional to a culture, that's what they're going to be looking for regardless. And it doesn't matter who you are as an artist, they're going to be attracted to the iconography that you're playing to.
I was telling you, there's an artist that is starting to get some recognition. It's a guy who, you know, is using the whole, like, I grew up in the ghetto and I had a rough life. He's playing the race card, and these white liberals are eating it up because they feel it makes them a good person, that they're supporting this guy who had a hard life. But
yeah, he's hustling though. Right,
he's hustling.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah, exactly. So do you respect an artist who plays the race card?
No, not
Where that his story
not
is
like so
more
upfront.
prevalent or prominent than the work itself, because the work isn't that good.
It has to be both.
The work isn't that good.
It has to be
But
both.
his story is carrying the work. He's elevating the work
No.
more than it should be, because it's not well crafted at all.
I probably wouldn't be attracted to it. If my first thing is like, if I look through a magazine or I go to a show, I don't read the artist statement. I don't read about the artist first. I look at the stuff. If I'm attracted to it, I go up to it. I study it. I see what else it has to say. And then if that interests me, then I go further and I read about what the person is about. But yeah, I agree with you. Like if that's all they're going on, then. But if he's talking about his identity and the work is really good and he combines those issues together well, then I think it's good.
But if
Why
the
not?
work isn't good.
The work isn't good, no.
America thinks very binarily. You know what I mean? It's very much like black and white. It's very American and or say African American, Asian American, another kind of American. Whereas in our cultures, I had a friend named Marcelo, which is a high Italian name, you know, and his dad was Japanese. He looked completely Japanese. But if you ask him, what are you? He would say, I am Brazilian. There is no prefix to that notion. You know what I'm saying? Which now in certain countries, that's changing. And I think because of an Americanization, which is a global assimilation of sorts, you know what I mean? Which I find quite precarious. You know, it should be happening for me in the other way, where people would say like, I'm American. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. So why do so many of us hold on to the cultures of our parents, but we don't want to be labeled with that identity?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I don't think there's any shame here of us being our backgrounds and anything like. But at the same time, I might not say the first thing is like I'm a Puerto Rican artist. Like no, I'm just like I'm an artist, man. This is my life. I also don't say I'm an American artist.
I wouldn't say Colombian or Latino artist. I would just say artist.
I never applied to Latino or Hispano, whatever, like minority-driven grants or anything like that. And also particularly because my work wasn't tied to that identity either. Like, it wasn't. If you take an artist like Pepe Osorio, who's like about masculinity and about being a Puerto Rican, and it's like for some reason, since I wasn't working in that realm, I never felt like it was my right to talk about it. I do want to connect more.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it has awakened a part of me that's like been dormant.
Para muchos de los emigrantes vienen a este país, venimos a este país y te entra como ese furor de conocer más de lo que dejaste allá, porque volvemos a lo mismo, mientras estás allá tal vez no aprecias ciertas cosas.
Sí.
Como un ejemplo, por ejemplo, ahorita estoy pintando una serie de los tlacuaches. Tlacuaches para mí es como un símbolo de resistencia, ¿no? ¿Y sabes por qué empecé esto? Porque una vez limpiando los terrenos de donde estamos sembrando ahorita, salió un tlacuache y pum, se fue. Y entonces me acordé de los tlacuaches que yo veía allá, porque luego la gente quema los terrenos para poder sembrar otras cosas. Y empiezan a oír las tortugas y los tlacuaches y las ratas y todos se pelan y se van. No, hasta acá hay tlacuaches, ¿no? Entonces me empecé a imaginar eso. El tlacuache resiste. Y luego me acuerdo que una vez salió un tlacuache y había un tipo, nosotros éramos niños y el tipo era ya un muchacho grande y alcanzó al tlacuache y lo golpeó, lo pateó. Ya el tlacuache se quedó así. Dice, el tlacuache está haciendo tonto, ¿no? Se hacen tontos para que ya no le hagan nada y cuando nos vayamos él se va. Cuando volví a ver el tlacuache aquí me acordé de eso y digo, el simbolismo del tlacuache. Entonces, empecé a pintar una serie y a la vez es como que yo creo que a mucha gente le pasa de que hasta que no estás en un lugar totalmente extraño y ajeno a lo que estás acostumbrado es cuando empiezas a ver todo aquello que se quedó allá, que no le damos la menor importancia. Tal vez eso influencia mucho a lo que podrías llamar el arte latinoamericano en América, en Estados Unidos.
In America, we're familiar with the immigrant population. There is, the lower middle class, lower class people that have come to this country looking for better opportunities, looking for work, and you won't see, like, for the most part, the light-skinned, upper class, because why? They're better off in their own country. They don't, they're successful. They don't really need to emigrate. Here, like, everybody's about going to the beach and getting tan. Like, everybody wants to go and get darker in the summer. And like, there's like whitening products in Latin America that you want to be lighter. You want to be like more white.
Supposedly, when I went to Colombia as a kid or as a baby, my parents would take me. My grandmother, she would put powder on me to make me look white.
What?
So right? Wow.
Because the little Juanito was too dark.
Oh shit!
That's amazing.
Were you? What the fuck?
Racism definitely happens in Latin America.
Sure.
Oh, it does. It does.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's
Oh my
racism is
God.
racist, but I think
That's
maybe
crazy.
it's more subtle. In
Right,
Latin
it's
America
subtle.
than it is here. Either way, it's racist.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
but-
there's less political correctness.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're not hung up on PC.
They're not hung up on PC. Yeah.
Like, yeah, powder, you're too dark.
Right.
It's called La Negra.
La Negra, yeah.
And you-
My
like you said that
my
right
aunt used to call me Neguinho. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Neguinho, vem cá. You know what I'm saying?
You're not even that.
Not at all, right? But when we look back into my maternal side, which is straight Brazil, we go from Spain to Congo. You know what I'm saying? Right? But if somebody looks at me and like, Congo, fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, dude, it's in there.
Back in Florida, when I was in high school, I remember there was an art news magazine that came out, Latino Artists, or Latino Art Now, and Guillermo Cuica was on the cover, like really young face on there. And then I saw his artwork, and I was like, I like it. I started kind of following it, and I was at Art Basel in Miami, like 8 years ago, or whenever it first started. I was at that first one, and he was there. He was walking around Art Basel, and he came to Orlando to do a talk. And there was a Q&A section to it, and I asked him, like, the only question I could come up with, I asked him, like, so what makes your art South American? What makes your art Argentinian? And he just kind of shut me up in a way with his answer by saying, like, well, because I'm Argentinian, and because this is the art that I make.
The people that emigrated to this country focused on their community here, and so okay, because that is something. Like when you emigrate, there is a lot of an emphasis on assimilation. You don't want to be an outlier. You don't want to be the immigrant. You know, you want to speak the language. You know, I think for a lot of people that are kind of first generation Latin American, second generation, there's a language. There is something about like the language that is an association to the culture as well, you know, and like the more that you have an association with that language, the more you have an association with that culture.
That culture, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting philosophically speaking about linguistics. You know what I mean?
You know, there's always a dialogue happening, and then I think we're a product of that dialogue. I mean, our entire being is a product of dialogue. Our fathers, mothers, meeting foreigners and strangers and listening to our product of dialogue. Our entire language is based on the dialogue, and that we have languages that are indigenous. Our words are probably indigenous as well as words that are probably that have been imported.
Yeah.
You know?
There's something interesting about that. I mean, we talked about this. It's come up a couple of times that like all of our parents, like they were drawn to each other, most likely because of a common language.
Yeah.
You know, an immigrant experience. You know, my parents are Colombian Venezuelan, yours are Uruguayan Venezuelan. Both your parents are Colombian, but like, you know, it's something that obviously, like they were drawn to
Italian and Venezuelan.
Drawn to, you know, hold on to that, to retain that in their lives for some reason. You know, they didn't want to shed it. They didn't want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean, I think just like an American is. I mean, I think that's something we kind of forget about, but we can't really like. I mean, I don't want to feel like that I want to pigeonhole it. I mean, I kind of like look at the furry and like saying like, yeah, I mean that is. I mean, but that stuff like in the island, I think I look in Venezuela and yeah, like maybe South America.